G'day, welcome to Project Brupeg. Welcome to another windy edition of Building Boats. Today's job is to turn that round bar and that piece of flat steel into an anchor. Autumn's hit. It's quite cold.
The wind's really cold.
Yeah, it's a southerly.
Practice. We're acclimatising to Antarctica. We figured it'll take us a year and a half to acclimatise after living in Queensland.
This weather really doesn't count for Antarctica acclimatisation.
It's actually quite a change for us because we're used to like really hot weather.
It got down to 11 degrees last night, which is like practically polar for us at the moment.
Well, when you're used to about 30, it's quite a drop. So
yeah.
We're just being wussy.
Anchors is a bit like politics and religion. Everyone's absolutely certain that their idea is the one that works the best. It's a difficult topic to talk about, but I'm one that's never really shied away from strong opinions, so allow me to express some. There are two main types of anchors, those that work and those that don't. Alright, so we put a lot of thought into an anchor for Brupeg. We need to create a shank. That's very technical and to scale. We need to create a pick, which centre line down like that, and then we need to create a bar over the back, and you put those three together and you've basically got an anchor that self-rights, so it can be when you drop it off the front of the boat it can land upside down and it'll pull itself the right way around, and because of the angle that you put in this bit when you weld it on here, it digs in correctly. So this is pretty technical, I know, you're just going to have to bear with me, and this is going to be referred back to as part of our design because obviously we need to make sure we get it bang onto these measurements.
So tell me, how are you getting the what's this called?
Shank.
The shank through the fluke.
Yep. So
are you just welding on, or are you going through? You're going through, right? Because it's stronger?
I'm going through. So we need to create a diamond shape like that, and if that's the centre line down there, that's not a flat piece of steel, that's actually bent up like that, so it's got a bit of a V going on. So there'll be a weld all the way down the middle. We're making it out of 20mm plate, which is what we've got downstairs. So the whole anchor is going to be 20mm plate, cut out of that. There'll be a weld all the way down the centre, and what we're going to do, where this shank here needs to go in, there'll be like a slot sort of cut in here somewhere. We'll cut a hole all the way through the blades. We'll push the anchor through, maybe about 10mm through. We'll weld it on the bottom and we'll weld it around the top. So we've got essentially two really solid welds holding this shank in, so there's no way it'll pull out of this. I'm just going to put this through AutoCAD. So we've got the shank goes like that, the blade's on an angle, and then you end up with the loop at the back. So it's a really basic anchor. Now I know that looks a bit rough. I've got the older version of software on AutoCAD. This is analog AutoCAD. This here is a piece of 25mm solid bar that we've had bent up, and these plates and this shank is going to be cut out of that one single large piece of plate. Came in and heard all this noise.
Take a picture of it, you might never see it again. 2nd of May, you've got to do dishes.
This is true.
Yeah.
The annual dishes.
Yeah, at least.
Screw going in that way. And then you can have, because that would allow, you've got your 3mm steel panel on the outside, like that. That would allow you 60mm of insulation, polystyrene there. Another 60mm of polystyrene there for the second layer, and then your 6mm of wall panel or whatever, plywood in there. So that whole setup, so you got steel beam on the boat, steel 3mm skin, 10mm toughened glass, 50mm gap, you got a wiggle of wood in there, specific shape, 6mm laminate, and then a piece of wood in here screwed in to stop that one coming out. 2 layers of insulation and your wall panel. Or you could even maybe stop that one. So from there to there is 120mm.
120, sorry.
Yep. I'm guessing this is probably a 6mm panel. That was my thought anyway.
It'd make a good window ledge.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
cup of coffee size.
Actually, we should bloody make it a cup of coffee size, because then we could utilise it for something quite handy.
The guys are silhouette, they're being very mysterious. I can't get the light to get you. Go the other way. Oh, nice. Okay. But coffee ledge at the
Coffee ledge.
at the sides.
Yeah.
It's going to go around you. Oh, there we are. There's some light.
Oh.
Ah, there they are.
So what if I just go and get all the measurements of what we got here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can just add and subtract and do whatever we need to do. Yeah.
They should all be the same, shouldn't they?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there might be a 1 or 2 millimetre variance between all of these because they were all freehand
Right, good to know.
cut
Okay.
with a grinder and stuff. So, and those ones might have moved with welding. So I actually allowed a 5mm gap all the way around the windows to allow for any weirdness in the shapes of the frames. So we have to do the same again, probably to allow if it's 700, get a 690mm window, so you've got 5mm either side.
Do you want to explain what's going on?
One of our viewers, David Cochrane, has offered to pay for the windows for the double glazing in the saloon or the lounge on Brupeg. Previously, he's bought the windows that go right across the back end of the lounge for us. So he's just an amazing supporter.
These ones?
These ones.
The enormous things that they are.
So what we're trying to figure out is how do we do the framing so that we can put the second pane of glass in, because we want to have quite a chunky gap. There's going to be about a 50mm gap between the outside glass and the inside glass. We're going to be using laminated glass on the inside. The outside is 10mm toughened. We don't have to be as thick as that on the inside, so we're going to go 6mm laminated. But I also want to put argon in between the 2 panes of glass, mainly so that we can get rid of any moisture in there so that we don't have condensation issues, but also argon makes double glazing more effective because it's a heavier noble gas, and you don't have any other contaminants like water or you know, some of the other gases that are in just atmosphere.
Cool, and just a little peek. Look at the little pussycat sleeping. Right, should we go down and draw this anchor out?
Let's go make an anchor.
And Trevor's going to do the
I'll wait till you get
measurements.
the anchor finished before I finish.
Yeah. Right as we
particularly
finish
the grinding
Right,
and yeah.
right as we finish the heavy cutting and everything.
Take a long time to do.
Oh, the measuring's just finished. We're making a copy of basically what's called a Bugle design. So Bugle is I think it's a German design anchor that's built years ago. I think it was like designed in the 20s or something like that. And they're really common for trawlers around here. Real basic and simple design. You can just knock them up yourself. No one sues you. And they're really effective too. And for what they are, they're actually kind of quite a modern design. Like when you start looking at some of the other anchors that came out designed after them, like CQRs and Bruce, that sort of thing. The Bugle is a really, really modern sort of an effective shape. So that's why we're copying it, because it's really easy to build, and it works really well. Carry that on like that. Put it up through the bottom. There's no physical way you can pull it out.
Oh,
It works like a wedge.
gosh, you're clever.
I know.
What did you say?
I tried telling everybody, but no one will
That's
believe
why I
me.
hang around with you,
Yeah.
opening it right off.
What are you saying?
So we want to put the shank through the blade, right? So imagine the blade gets welded on here, right? We want to put, so that's the where the shank basically is welded. But what we want to do is make this a little bit longer, and cut a hole in the blade, push it through, weld on the bottom and weld on the top, rather than just welding it on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're thinking is.
So you need to add to push through? You don't have quite enough length to go
but
through?
there's 2 ways we can do it. We can just do a straight piece down here and push it straight through, or if we make it a slight wedge shape like that, push it through from the bottom up, there's no physical way you can pull it out the other side, and then we'll weld it in. So not only is the weld holding it, but also the physical shape of the steel. Make sense?
Much far?
Yeah. 30 mil, don't we? 20 mil plate.
25, 20.
20. Actually, let's go 40 because we can always cut it.
Oh, that's actually really ginormous, isn't it?
One anchor blade.
God, it's massive. You've actually got a bit left over, eh?
Yeah. Yep.
That's 740.
I just need to put a little bit of meth on this pen to get it working.
Got some in the car?
Trev's being absolutely certain that he's sticking to the rules.
Look at that.
You think we don't take social distancing seriously? Behind the scenes, Trev, measuring out. Can you check my length that way? I think it was 890.
Try 900.
Oh, that'll do. 900. Pretty close.
Yeah, very, very close.
Righto. My workshop's getting progressively smaller as I get towards the end of this build.
When we shift the boat, Damien will be just sucking under here.
When we moved the boat last time, I got them to stick extra blocks under it to lift it up because I knew I'd be working under it. I was just like, can you pack it up a bit higher, fellas? Alright, so if you two can just cut that out.
Yeah, we'll just put that out, eh?
So a quick tour of what we've got. Down here you can sort of see a triangle that we've marked out. That's one side of the blade. And then down the far end there, zoom right in, you can sort of see there's a second triangle. That's the opposite side of the blade. And then if you come back, this here is going to be our shank. So our bow roller sits in this part here. The blade gets welded to that line there, and we're going to cut it to that size there down. And we're going to cut a hole in the blade, which will be about here somewhere. If we chop that, this is the center line of the blade. We're going to cut it about there. This shank will slide up through the hole. So the hole's going to be slightly, it'll be that dimension there, it won't be this dimension. And what that allows is basically the shank physically, even without welds, the shank physically can't get pulled through the blade. So we're relying on a weld at the top, a weld at the bottom, and then also the shape to hold the anchor together. This line here is where the blade sits, and this line here is where our half round pipe sits. So what we had to mark that out so that we can make sure we get this angle correct, but also so that we can put in this horn. We're going to put what we're calling a horn, but it basically is a piece of steel that links up with the top of what's going to be the round bar, the half round hoop at the back of the anchor, and it's essentially going to give it a little bit of strength, so if we get it jammed in rocks or something, it's not going to hopefully pull off and start damaging the anchor.
You wouldn't think that'd be hard work, would you?
No, it's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
You got to put so much bloody force and effort into them, though.
It's pulling against you all the time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I ordered 50 or 100, but I think whatever it was that I ordered, I think we'll max that out. Yeah, this bit's going to be a bit of a mission, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do those radiuses that easy.
Just trying to use last bit of the disc on the shallow cut.
I was just trying to figure out where to cut the slot, because I thought I'll cut the slot before I weld them together. Like cut it that way.
Yeah.
Because I can do that side, but I can't do that side.
That's right, yeah. Just a thought, you might need to put those cheek to cheek to mark them, because...
Yeah, we might not have cut them the same. True.
Yeah, right onto it. Ideally they should be the same, but...
Close enough.
Now that we've got the bulk of our shape cut out, we need to go through, we're going to tack the two blades together, the two flutes, and that's going to allow us to cut out the slot in the middle at the correct angle so that we don't end up with a massive big undercut underneath the anchor. So we've got the basic setup. This is the angle that we want to use, so it's pretty close to perfect. So we'll tack those two together like that, and that gives us the flukes that we want. And then we've got to go through, and you can see this, we've marked a line down the center here. We're going to be putting a 1mm disc down there and creating a slot, and that slot is what the shank is going to slide up through from the bottom so that we can weld it in. We need to tack it there, ignore that and tack that. Where are the bumpers?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do that.
Nice. That worked. Whatever you did.
Tack it like that, eh?
Yeah. But how's we call this? That's.
Sorry.
It needs to come up a bit.
Get it?
Yeah. 5 or 6 mil.
Do you want to clamp that side to the steel and I'll just lift it? That's too flat.
A little bit more. Yep. Something like that.
Good. Right, so we need to do our propping up thing.
Yep.
We have to do both ends, don't we?
Pretty much.
I don't think we're high enough, are we? What's that? Right, do we need to... So we'll tack it in the middle, eh? And then we can just sort of clamp it or whatever.
One in the middle, one each end.
Eyes again. Working on this end now.
We're sort of half done that, or more.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a heap of bloody grinding, eh?
Oh my god,
Oh.
it really is. Oh my gosh, look at that.
That's all done.
Wow.
That's done. That's not quite done.
How many discs do you reckon we got through? Probably 30 or 40?
We were 15 before, so we're up to probably 20 something.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, amazing. You guys take a break when you need one, don't you?
Yeah. So around the corner, Trev's hauling on what will become the shank. He's just about got it out, but there's just a fraction left to go. Meanwhile, the blade is welded. So we did the order slightly different from what we thought we were going to do. I made an assumption that today, Saturday, would be day of cutting. It wasn't. It was cutting and welding because we had to tack it together so that we can get the slot down the middle cut correctly.
Camera's not on.
I wasn't wrong.
There's one of those moments.
This one will come apart and this one will stay in. Work.
Wow.
That's what it looks like when Trev has a tantrum. You can hear it from the marina.
They come running over soon.
You join there. That's
Just
what's
a
holding
little.
it.
Right.
You've
Shouldn't be.
what? We're like 5 mil. Well, there we go.
Oh.
Hey.
If we get those two, this one here.
Got some oil.
You can see it's just a little
Yeah, just in
bit
the
there,
corner.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's another one.
I don't think we'll ever get
Yeah.
in with the granderie. Trev is trying to chop open. If you look directly down there, you can see sort of between about there and there, there's a little bit of metal hold. He's ground it through on both sides, probably a good, I don't know, 8 mil or something. So it's only a little wee bit he's got to get out, but it's enough just to hold it.
That's it, eh?
That much.
Wow, it's gorgeous. Yeah, it's big.
That's the anchor.
Wow.
Needs a lot of refining.
Yeah. Right. One shank.
Can I suggest we stop after this?
Yep.
Cool.
Quite big when you look at it that way.
Big, eh? Nice shape, I like it.
You won't be pulling up by hand anyway.
So we were stuck on how we get the radius, the inside radius done on the shank. So it's a bit of a difficult curve to sort of cut out and everything with the tools that we've got. If we had oxy, or if we had a big plasma, we could just, you know, easily go around that corner, but we don't have those. So we have to kind of work with what tools we do have. Jess came up with a brilliant solution, drilling a whole series of bunch of holes all the way around the inside radius and then just belting it out. So, and then once that's out, just cleaning up the little nicks and burrs and stuff that are left. So that'll be tomorrow's job. We'll set it up in the drill press. We'll put a stand on either side so we can kind of maneuver it all around and it just holds itself level. And we'll go through and put a series of holes in. So where exactly that is, that circle there that we need to cut out. So at the moment, we've basically just got it roughed out to where it sort of needs to be on the edges here, but we have to drill the holes all the way around that line and then take that sort of semicircle or half moon or whatever you want to call it out of it.
And the reason it's so important, it's a 5-inch radius and it's designed to fit our bow roller. So it's got to fit.
So tomorrow's job, once we get those holes drilled for that radius, we need to go through and put a few more in. So we need to put one down in here, and that's to help us pull the anchor out if it ever gets stuck. We're also going to put one up here so we can tie the anchor onto the boat. Oh, how close is it, Trev? Couple of mil?
Bloody. If a bee was flying past, we could stab him in the gap. Oh, that's solid. I thought it was. It's that solid.
Yeah.
I thought it was pipe.
Okay, that might account for why it's not
I'll have to use 2 hands then.
It's not moving, is it?
You must be able to do it.
Oh, hang on. Run a weld on the inside.
Oh.
Done. That's how we'll do it.
If you do that tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's job. Yeah, nice hot weld will just bloody spray transfer it and it'll suck itself in.
You got eyes like summer sky. If you're smart, could kill or die. And now it starts to rain, so let's enjoy it.